Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess video. Okay, people, let's look alive out there in La La Land, or Chess Land, I should say. Okay, for my greatest audience on the entire planet, I have chosen one of the coolest games you will see. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. I got this book out of Chess Praxis by Aaron Nimzovich. Now this is the new updated 21st century edition. It's gotten the algebraic notation in it. For some dumb reason, I got rid of my original copy when I bought this. Talk about a moron in action. That'd be me. Anyway, I'm going to find it again. But this is the modern chapter that the editors have added into this to show you the continuation of Aaron Nimzovich's chess system, which really is fabulous. That was the first chess book I learned chess out of. My oldest brother taught me how to play chess, and he jumped into Aaron Nimzovich and he gave it to me for my 12th birthday. Oh, that I had just pursued chess harder instead of what I did. I went into construction or some such stupid waste of time thing, and I could have had a good chess career. It's okay. I've got great chess friends in the world, all of you who watch my videos. I still get to make magnificent chess videos, and I am on my way up to chess excellence. Yeah, so this game is by Judit Polgar. She was the youngest chess grandmaster in history, at least as of 1992. I think she's been surpassed now from that status, but she is easily one of the 5 strongest chess woman players in the world today. Anytime you get a watch or play through or study a Judit Polgar game is worth the weight in gold. And I've got a screamer for you. All right, shut up and talk. Yeah, I'm getting there. Come on, I've got to elaborate. This is the introduction. I'm going to take it straight from the book. Hopefully I don't blow it here. We shall see. D4, that was White's first mistake against Judit Polgar. She agreed to play her. Yeah, whatever. Play the game, cowboy. Okay, knight f6, yes. Good opening, knight f3, yes. Good opening, g6, yes. King's Indian, right? Here we go. Hang on to your hats. It's gonna be a screamer. Okay, gonna fianchetto that bishop. And she has already almost checkmated this rook, which is her objective. Sorry, time to get serious. No, she's not gonna worry about checkmating the rook. I was just saying that to see if you were paying attention. Now, class, it's time to pay attention. You know, I gotta do it like the old teachers, right? No, we're having fun because it's such a spectacular game. Castle's early, of course. Now, look what White's doing, really truly. Building up a big center, a strong center. When you build up a big center, you have the responsibility to make it as strong or actually indestructible as you can. Because as a black position player in this instance, there's only one word that you see here. Target! Yeah, baby, the center. You already have your objective as black. Go after the center. You now know what to do. You're not lost, right? E4 and then D6. Now, usually in a King Indian, they'll open the D6 to open up the diagonal for this bishop. You'll see them bump up E6 sometimes also, but usually it's D6 after they fianchetto and bring their knight out and castle and all that other whoop-de-doo goulash good stuff. they'll pop this d6. For that reason, white is going to prepare to castle, bring up the bishop, yes. And now Polgar goes for the gusto. She's going to fight for the center right now. Yes, entirely appropriate in this opening. My suspicion is because she is Judit Polgar. She can get away with crap like this. Let's see what consternation this causes white. He completely ignores the threat and castles. You know, I should say she. I believe she's playing another woman. Yeah, sorry, ma'am. I apologize for the inconvenience with which my stupidity might cause you. And now the other knight, yeah. Knights out first, as a general rule, yes. Knights and minor pieces first. We're seeing that applied here very well. Complete center attention, yes. We expected that, of course. The other, they mention this in a note, and I thought it might be worth noticing, because we emphasize the center so hard in chess, yeah? And so this move, of course, really does impact the center, yes? So, I mean, it's not wrong. Another option is knight b to d7, and what this does is it allows this square and this square. It's a different thrust, but it also supports the f6 knight in case there is a kingside attack, and that knight, which is a great defender of the king, if that knight gets taken, it can get replaced. And that's why that particular move is also an option. Here, Polgar decided to go it this way, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's not a yes or no here just yet. It's just a little bit different emphasis. In case. Polgar is one of the fiercest attackers in the game. That's my suspicion why she went here, because she is going to attack. And white looks like she's up for it. She's saying, game on, come and get me. Because she is really building up her center very well. It's a strong looking game at this point. And the note says this is Gligorich's system. And the idea here is to aim at the solid center, yes. But you also, it's a very interesting thing. Some of us amateurs, us wannabe hopefuls for chess grandeur and magnificence. Yes, I can smell the victory. Gligorich's system maintains the tension. Now, as amateurs, there's times when I have some people that I play online and they can't stand keeping the tension. They relieve it every second they get. They just constantly exchange constantly. That's not necessarily the best way to play. What that does is it takes away from you being able to create a full position of either defense or attack, etc. What do we mean by central tension here? Rather than, one, it develops the final minor piece, which is critically important in the opening. So that's why the Gligorich system is real good. When we say maintaining the central tension, the two pawns here are arguing. Yeah? We also have the knights hitting the pawns, but they aren't going to just take them because they can. No. They're leaving this as is for the moment. And the white also, conversely, is striking a pawn. They're not going to... Relieving the tension is the exchange of the pieces, right? It's not always a good thing to do that immediately. That is one reason why this Gligorich system, as it is called, is so popular. Development above relieving the tension. And you can see everything, it just looks completely clogged up. That's perfectly fine. That's the way it works. Now Polgar brings her knight out to g4. And you say, well, she's not fully developed yet. She's blowing it. She's moving a piece twice. Every rule has exceptions. Let's just watch this little lady function. She's really exquisite here. Now, interesting too, is White's reaction, bishop to g5. So again, rather than relieving the tension, it appears that they're adding to it with some good threats. And this is one of the illustrations I wanted to show you of why leaving the tension in the center gives you a better chance to make stronger threats, because had you gone ahead and taken the pawn and then taken it with the knight and the knight taken the queen, all that, that knight wouldn't be there to support that bishop to put pressure on that queen, would she? Right? Because you haven't hurried up and exchanged everything, you have a bishop supported by the knight, and now you can make a tempo gaining move. That can potentially give you the initiative, which is very valuable. And so now Polgar has to pay closer attention. That's how that works, right? So what does she do? Well, she resigns at this point. I'm kidding, I promise. No, she did not resign. Calm down. We're supposed to be having a serious game of chess here. Let's shape it up here, people. Come on. Show some gumption. Look alive. Look alive. Polgar does the f6 bump. Now, mind you, just as a side note, I want to express something here. In the opening itself, because of the nature of this opening in the King's Indian, when you bump the G-pawn, you automatically weaken the dark squares around the king. But because you have fianchettoed the bishop takes care of those dark squares, which is one of the reasons why the fianchettoed bishop is a superb defender of the castled king. That's why in many, many attacks, the exchange of that bishop is the downfall of black, because then you have weak squares surrounding the king, right? So the weak square complex around black means black is going to want to play dynamically, more or less, with this particular opening system. We're not going to be babying around. Pushing the F pawn induces further weaknesses against her king, even though, I mean, she could have just moved her queen out of the way, right? What's wrong with that? Well, a lot. You're given that powerful h4 d8 diagonal to the white bishop. No. No, you're better to, the strength for white is much, it's better for you to accept a smaller weakness around your king to chase off the bishop, realizing that it's not a disaster against your king because your king is not alone. You do still have the pawn protection. You certainly do have that magnificent fianchettoed bishop. So it's not like your king is all of a sudden going to get checkmated because you pushed one of the pawns. This is done with a purpose, a very good one, by the way. So don't freak out when you learn that you're supposed to keep your pawns down by your king. Don't assume, well, I'm forced to move my pawn, and therefore I'm weaker, and so I'm going to lose the game. No. No, 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 no. Nope, that's not true. It's always based on the context of each and every game and position. So here, this did not hurt Polgar, is what I'm trying to tell you. If you would just let me shut up and talk, you would figure that out. So the bishop comes roaring all the way back home. Yeah. I don't... yeah. Okay. Good enough. Now, true, she made the single pawn move. And quite frankly, we're not out of the opening yet, right? And I mean, she does have a couple of undeveloped pieces. So does her opponent, however. And the situation is such that her opponent has a really strong, beautiful center. That is granted, true. And her center is not necessarily weak. She does have a little bit of weakness around her king. However, she makes a second pawn move. And as a general rule, which all of them have exceptions to, she makes yet another pawn move instead of developing a piece. However, the key to the second pawn move is that she is hitting the center. And they do want to fight for that center. And it could potentially open up the F-file for her rook. So she's not making just pawn moves to make pawn moves, like this, right? That pawn move not only has great purpose, it has great sting. And you say, well, yeah, well, now can't you just bring the bishop right back up to there and threaten the queen? You can. The difference here is your center is under attack. So that's what you have to pay attention to, right? So her next move is not to move the bishop back into it, but to take the pawn. Or no, she did it this way. D took E. Yes, D takes the E pawn here. And I know she had a magnificent center, but she has to eliminate Polgar's center also, because she is directly being challenged. Now, Polgar, she stuck that knight way out there, and yes, right now is a temporary time. It is an outpost, but not a permanent one. So she does use that knight to retake the pawn, which gives her a good outpost still in the center there. So all is good and well, except that white is now coming after the F pawn. And what this is doing, now we see the character of the center has opened up. The development is not damaging to white, but the pawn center is gone. Polgar has a unique opportunity here. Do you retake with the pawn? No, because you do want to keep that pawn in front of the king as much as possible. Technically, yes, it is supported with the H-pawn, but don't take it with the king cover pawn. If you can help it, there is a better way to retake that pawn, and you do want to retake that pawn, right? The better way is you can develop your bishop with tempo. Yeah? So look at how the dynamic in the center has shifted because Polgar bumped her pawn 1 to chase the bishop away, then bumped the same pawn again to challenge the white center, which ultimately eliminated one of Polgar's central pawns, but it eliminated the white pawns, and now Polgar has more power in the center. That is justification for the 2-pawn moves. I know I'm taking a little bit of time to explain this, but that's half the fun of chess videos, is you really get to see the nitty-gritty, right? And yeah, I'm probably over-explaining it, but there's a lot of you who say these videos are helping you, so this is fantastic for me to do. I love doing it for myself. I'm very hedonistic that way. But if that helps you to understand the whys and wherefores, and you can see truly the shift of power appears to me at this point to begin going Black's way now. That is worth seeing. Look at this. Look at this. So the pawn pushes are worth it at this point. King is not exposed. King is not in danger. King is not being attacked. Yeah, she's got a couple of weaknesses compared to the white king, which is just solid as a rock. But it's okay because the center power has grown. That more than takes care of any of the little weaknesses around her king that is not being attacked just yet, right? So you don't have to freak out that way. This is a good defense, in other words. Interesting that her defense consists of an offense against White's center, which gives her more power. That's a great thing to see. Yeah, we need to recognize that so that we can start doing this in our chess games, right? Okay, so, and now that we've gotten this far, let's see what happens. See, White is not playing stupid lackadaisical chess. She brings that bishop right back into the thick of things. Very good, very good. However, now Polgar has a little bit stronger trump call. Yeah? Look at that center now. Hey, if your opponent begins to bring out the queen, the bishop, the knight, you have a rook on a file, etc., get ready. Your king's being attacked. Black is on the warpath, I promise. Yeah, this is a sure signal. What this does is it gives her, it announces her greater commitment to attack. I mean, technically speaking, she really is more or less committed. Now she is. White has no doubt in her mind, here comes the attack. Now her commitment seems much stronger with that queen move. You know Black's intent. How she carries it out's a different question, but you know what she's doing. So you know you're not going to be, oh, well, let's see, I don't have anything to do. I think I'll push that lovely little pawn and he can go for a nice little stroll. Or maybe I can do this, you know. Oh, hey, the B square looks empty. Why don't I put the rook on the B square? No, none of that noise. You're not lost. You're not scratching your head wondering, oh, well, what's next, man? No, here it comes. You know what's next. You better get darn good and ready. And she didn't move it to the B square. She moves it to the C square, which is powerful, right? Get all your rooks in. Now there's absolutely no question. 100% commitment of Polgar. I'm coming after you. Technically, there was no question once she started pushing that pawn several moves back, brought out the bishop, etc. But now we know it's a kingside attack. What she's doing is she is solidifying the center with those two rooks right there, right, on those files. It's a great backup supporting the queen, the knight, the bishop, the pawns when they start moving forward. Yeah, that's a great setup for an attack. No kidding. Keep the pawn, see, structurally, white is doing good because there's no blatant weaknesses in white's structure. Position-wise, there's no outright screaming weaknesses. That's important because that means the defense will be solid, right? That is what you want. Something like that, and then that, although she should try to get into the queen side, but she's too late. Black is too well committed and developed here. She now does not have time to try to do a counterattack, but that would only give Polgar targets to tilt at, right? At this point. Because she started too late. You can't just throw a single pawn up there and expect to win the game. No. Not going to happen this way. But she does make sure her structure is as solid as she can make it. And now, here she comes, walking down the street. Ooh, yeah, she's on the way. Here we go. H6, man. And if you've never had a chess instructor on the video singing to you while they're showing you chess, you are missing out. Yeah, okay. Okay, here we go. What does H6 indicate, you guys? When you see your opponent do something like this, it indicates an idiot because they're creating weaknesses on their king side and I can attack their king side, right? Wrong, but thanks for playing. I don't have a clue. This is the preparation for the G-pawn to zing down there and destroy the king cover. She's going to support the pawn advance with the pieces behind her. This helps prepare it. In the process, if it is a strong attack, regardless of whether it is the king cover pawns and pieces, she will be so strongly attacking, there's no counterattack on the queen side. The center is pretty solid and secure. There's not going to technically be much of a counterattack in the center. I mean, yeah, you could start doing something like that to try to hit targets and then zing along here or whatever. But in essence, white isn't going to have time to attack the black king, even though she's creating weaknesses, because everything in the black army is coming full tilt at white. Let's observe this. This is quite a cool lesson here. And white knows it. Queen d2, support the bishop because you're going to have to start hitting targets. Because they're coming, I mean, look, they're coming from that side. So get your diagonal pieces, get your long-range pieces there. Yeah. Here we go, g5. And now, knight d4, the way to properly answer, if you can, as best you can, an aggression on the wing, and there's no question the aggression is coming from the wing, is developing and attacking in the center, and that's why she put the knight at d4, to start hitting targets, right? But hit them from the center. It's a hard concept in some respects to really grasp, but that's how you have to do it. She has much greater power and more potential because of those files that she owns, partial file in this case, but she has a lot more oomph coming through then she has to defend here. So the proper area to defend from is from the center. All grandmasters will tell you that. I promise, I know what I'm talking about here. I'm not trying to pose as an expert. I'm sharing grandmaster secrets and expertise with you from this game and the notes. It's right there in the stupid book. Oh, the joys of reading. And, of course, she will attack the knight. That is the whole idea. And the bishop. So, what happened here, see? White brought out a central attack, got black to induce a central skirmish, and now there's one less attacker. That's the idea here. And she's going to have a lot more less attackers here because Polgar is on the way. G4, full thrust. So the king comes to H1. Now, you know, moving the king off of the isle, off of the G, that's important because these rooks are going to come over here to attack, right? So tuck the king away in the corner is a proper move. And if the rooks don't get there first, the queen will. Yeah. Slicing off the king to just one small section. That's a good attack. Skill to have. So a defense, not only do you move the king off to avoid the attack, but it gives you the chance to pop your rook there and defend that isle. Now, really, the rook across from the queen, black has to be careful. Right? So good defense is what I'm saying. This is getting to be tense. And now queen h5. The post that the queen wanted to be to, and the reaction is knight d5. Now, and you're going, wait. All the action's over here, and you're worried about playing in the center? Yeah, that's the proper key. That's no kidding. However, in this instance, it's not that effective. She is looking to take the c7, but so what? Polgar can ignore that. Polgar doesn't even waste one move, not one tempo, worrying about that pawn by doing that. Not once. It doesn't matter to her. Her emphasis is here. She has the initiative in the attack. She's going to keep going on the attack. That is how to play chess. Yes. And look how she does it. Bishop E. Beautiful 4. Very nice. Now that opens up not only the diagonal, it opens up the rook. The queen is here. Are you beginning to see what's happening? White's starting to sweat just a little. She's saying, oh my, well, I better take the pawn. But it's all she's got. Because of the way Polgar has set this up, technically it's not all she's got. For me, I would have put the other rook there or something. I would have bumped the pawn and doubled up the rooks or something. I would have done something more over here, but I didn't play this game, she did. Kablam! As in on guard, as in your face, mama! What a move! Holy shish kebab, man! I mean, wow! That is really powerful. And you go, what's the big deal, dude? You can just take the knight. So what? Yeah, you think? Take a look at that position, just a little careful. Set your own board up and see what you'd find if your opponent took that knight. It might probably shock the snot out of you. That knight can't be taken just yet. And yet, she does. The G-pawn takes the knight. Watch the effect. Rook takes the pawn. You're going, is this woman drunk or crazy or what? No, she's Judit Polgar. I mean, wow. That's putting your rook into it, isn't it? Woohoo! What a beautiful attack. And you say, how can that be an attack? The bishop can take the rook. Yeah, well, so you think. No, the bishop cannot take that rook, not yet. That way, yeah, no. No, that'd be curtains for white. So the rook is immune at this point. So all the rook can do here is go to G2. And now Queen H3. Ooh, what a move. I mean, Polgar is coming full out, isn't she? Oh, wow. And rook C to G1, so she does get the rooks doubled, but it's way too late for any good thing to happen, because now the other rook comes into this. Centralized power and looking to go here. If this rook gets here, white's toast, right? Fabulous central move there, man. So the bishop will take the rook, finally. She's got to. She has no choice. And the bishop will take the bishop, pinning the rook to the king. Very dangerous for white. White is in trouble. White can get that rook, although it doesn't help her out of her difficulty, because the bishop now comes into play and takes the bishop. Polgar has every single one of her units focused on that king. She blew it here. Her queen's not being much help, really. There's not a lot she can do at this point. She's pretty much just stuck. She can go queen d5 check, and then king simply goes h8. And that's where white resigned. And the reason why is, no matter what she does next, it's checkmate. Or at least she's overwhelmingly dominated white. Yeah, she can take this bishop, I suppose. That's probably the best move. If she doesn't take that bishop, then the queen will go to h2 checkmate, right? Because the rook can't take the queen because the rook is pinned. That's a powerful pin in a corner on a king. Memorize that. That's really a good place to stick a bishop. Is either on f3 or, if you're on the black side, on f6, pinning one of the pieces there. That's powerful. So she could take the bishop, sure, and then the pawn takes the bishop, and black still has an overwhelming advantage, and she's going to win on material alone. So anyway, that is a fantastic king-side attack chess game that I was really excited to find so that I could show you, my awesome fans. I appreciate you. Remember, thanks for watching the video, by the way, but remember, be safe, do well, be happy, be friends, stay calm. Psychologically, cheer yourselves up. Remember, improve the dash between the date of your birth and the date of your death, just like I said last week in my philosophy video, which apparently a lot of you liked. Thank you. That was a lot of fun to do, and I will do more of those, yes. That's a great idea. It was a lot of fun to get outside and outdoors anyway. So, okay, there's your chessercise. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you keep improving on your chess, but I really also hope that you'll quit using all this stupid crap that I'm showing you against me when you play me online. Yes, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, you guys. I'll see you online. Come to the chess club. We're having fun. We're doing tournaments. We have another tournament tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can get on that tournament, but we'll see. I can play a few of the tournaments. I haven't played as many as I want, but Odoker is putting them together every single week, and they're a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. So come and join us and have some fun with us. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next Backyard Professor Chess video. Yeah, baby! Whatever. You know, I need trumpets blaring and fireworks going up and shut up and turn it off. You're done, dude. You've talked your head off.